I'm Richard Stone, I'm a portrait painter and I live here in the UK. This evening has been particularly special because I was asked to contribute a painting along with my fellow South African artists to join them in a celebration of art that's been inspired by Mr. Nelson Mandela. I painted his portrait 5 years ago and I had my sittings with him out at his office in Johannesburg, 6 in total. And the portrait had been commissioned, for the want of a better word, to be sold to raise funds for the 46664 Foundation, and it realised the phenomenal sum of £400,000 at auction in the July celebrations for his birthday. The portrait came, or the portrait project came as something of a surprise. I received a call probably in the January of 2008 asking if I was prepared to paint Mr. Mandela's portrait for free. Well, I was more than happy to do it. In fact, I would have paid to paint Mr. Mandela's portrait. But I asked why had I been asked to paint his portrait for no charge. And I was told that Mr. Mandela wanted to sell it at his birthday celebrations in Hyde Park, London, in the summer. And having secured the fact that I would paint the portrait for free and that my transport would be taken care of by Virgin Airlines and South African Airlines, I was very happy to get on a plane and to start sittings, 6 in all, with Mr. Mandela in his office. And so in February, I was in Johannesburg for 3 days with a sitting of about an hour each day in order to familiarise myself with his face and actually begin to get to know and understand this extraordinary man. As it happened, we got to know each other very well. He was interested in my family as I was interested in his. We talked easily about the people we had in common. I had painted Archbishop Tutu's portrait about 3 years previously, and of course, being such a good friend of the Archbishop, Mr. Mandela was able to tell me much more about the Archbishop than I could possibly have known from my sittings with him. But it was a very good reason for me to bond with Mr. Mandela. And as the sittings progressed, realizing that we had so much in common with regards to the people we knew, he asked me to take simple but affectionate messages to some very famous people, which was an honor for me to do. It obviously indicated that he trusted me. Now, with a whole sketchbook of different studies of his features, hopefully capturing different gestures, different looks, I suppose, I returned to the UK and started building up the pictures, or the portrait itself, from this jigsaw puzzle of sketches. And so by the following May, 2 or 3 months later, I had enlarged the work to the full-size canvas. So we're looking here at a life-size head and shoulders. And I returned for a final 3 sittings with Mr. Mandela in order that I could, I suppose, capture something of his spirit. By that time, the likeness was well established. I just needed to find out what was extraordinary about the man. Of course, there's so much that is extraordinary. But I was impressed by his very quiet dignity, his personal gravitas, his sense of humour, that I'm really hoping that in the final portrait I captured aspects of just that special quality. What I will take away with my time with Mr. Mandela, wonderful memories of just how charismatic he was. Charismatic not for these grand gestures that he would make, or any powerful speech, or anything memorable that he may have said, other than something that was significant. He said, when we were talking about Archbishop Tutu, he is my very good friend. He kept the bell ringing when I was in prison. But for the most part, it was just a pleasant conversation. But thinking back, it was his quiet dignity, the stillness of the man, the thoughtfulness, the steadfastness. There has to be, and there obviously were for me to see, extraordinary qualities that sustained him through some terrible, terrible times, but actually gave him focus on the future and the belief in himself and, of course, his ideals. I mean, he is a colossus, a man of such global standing. It's hard to put into words just how an impressive person he is to meet, and actually what a huge privilege it's been for me to spend so much time in his company, get to know his features, and really get to know him as an extraordinary man.